Hi, everybody. Welcome to yet another webinar session. We have, this is Desi Vijay. I'm a NorthSouth national team member and a coordinator for the webinars. Glad to see you all here. Let's start with the volunteer appreciation part of our session today. I would like to welcome Savita to guide us through this event, and she would give the welcome address. Here is Savita.
Thank you, Desi. Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good evening in India. I know this is an early session, but we wanted to accommodate all our volunteers in various time zones. And so we picked 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. We are still having several attendees join the session, but we want to stay on schedule and get started. Desi, can you pull up the deck?
Yeah, I am.
This event is specifically for all the volunteers. As we know that NorthSouth Foundation is built by volunteers, and it is a unique organization that has sustained for over 3 decades, just on the strength and dedication of the volunteers. So I wanted to start off by saying thank you to all of you for all that you have done for the NorthSouth Foundation, and you are NorthSouth, so welcome. So we have a packed program. We're gonna have a couple of entertainment pieces to break up the program. Several of our vertical leads will be speaking about the volunteers in their verticals and how they have made a difference and what contributions they made to successfully execute several of the NorthSouth initiatives. So this is the program that we will be following. And so we have to keep with time because we have a pretty jam-packed schedule. Next slide. So I just put this together based on what I have seen and what I've known. NorthSouth Foundation is built by thousands and thousands of volunteers who put in over 200,000 hours over the last three decades. And if we put a monetary value to it at the federal minimum wage, I came to like $1.5 million, and that is obviously underestimating the amount of time and effort that the volunteers have put in. So the volunteers have, all of you have dedicated your time with, and served with empathy, striving for excellence in education for students both in the US and in India. I would like to welcome Jagdish Gulapalli to speak about Dino Jiva, who is a very important member of Jagdish's team. Jagdish?
Thank you, Savita. And so for those of you who may not be aware, Dino has been part of Vitech development team since 2014, and he is a young person, and unfortunately, we actually lost him due to COVID in the last within the last month, and it's very heartbreaking for the entire NorthSouth community and also for our development team in particular, primarily because he's been so phenomenally active towards supporting not only various development activities, but also the India scholarships support activities. And he's been very well known across multiple verticals. So he will be sorely missed. He is, as I said before, he's a very young person, 32 years. He just had a baby in the last few months. And it's very unfortunate that COVID has not spared even our younger part of our team members. Thank you.
Jagdish, do you want to talk about the fundraising we're doing for Dino?
Absolutely. So for I believe we have sent out notifications about a fundraising activity. We set up a dedicated web page for fundraising on our website, and please take a moment to support any which way you can towards these fundraising activities, and NorthSouth Foundation will directly contribute all the money received to his family. And we are looking to raise at least up to $25,000, and it'll be very helpful if all the volunteers who are on this call can spread the message and do the necessary fundraising activities that could support his family.
Thank you, Jagdish. And as you guys can see on the screen, we have the donate link, and we can share it after this session, or you will be able to see it in the recording. We have begun the fundraising. I think the last couple of weeks we have raised a few $1,000s, but we are a bit off the 25K target that we've set for his young wife and son. So we would greatly appreciate any support that volunteers can come together for Dino's family. Thank you. So we recently, I think it was probably in April, that we did a survey on, polling all the volunteers. We got about 83 responses. It's a far cry from the thousands of volunteers we have, but then the volunteers come in to do the work, and then, they also have other things to do. So they might not have participated in the survey, but I did want to share a few statistics of what we had collected through that survey. As you can see, it is really amazing to see that the adults to youth volunteer ratio is almost half, at least in terms of the responses, but the youth volunteer group has been growing, and we are really, really happy about that. Next slide. And you can see that, by the number of years that people have been volunteering, over 45% of the volunteers who responded have been new volunteers, and it's great to welcome you all to the team. And over 14% of you who have been with the organization for more than 10 years have continued to serve, and for that we are really grateful. And this is basically the breakup of where most of the volunteers are, invested in. A lot of them are in coaching and contests. You can see that several of them come to help out at the local chapter activities. So this is just, to show you where we might need more help in terms of volunteering. And Anita Gavini, who leads the volunteer recruitment initiative, will speak to us about that later.
That's it, I think.
Yeah. So we are opening up the program with an invocation song by our own volunteer, who's also been with the organization with me for, I think, about 15, 16 years, Anita Rajagopalan. She heads the awards. She currently is heading the YCNS group. Anita is going to play a song on the violin.
Thank you, Savita. This song is called Maitrim Bhajata. It's a prayer celebrating friendship and community. And the concluding line of this song, Shreyo Bhuyat Sakala Jananam. This conveys the essence of the song, and it resonates with our event today and indeed our organization itself. May there be prosperity for all people. That's it.
Are we having audio issues?
Yeah, looks like it's not coming through.
Like we lost. something wrong.
Anita, you're not able to hear. It's cutting off.
Oh, okay. Let me try and start again.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Anita. Very good. That's awesome. I think some of the high string notes were not coming through, but it was a beautiful performance. Thank you very much. I think now, is Dr. Chituri all set?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is a wonderful day. It's sunny in Chicago, and thank you for joining, and we appreciate it. This is a celebration day for volunteer appreciation. As you all know, NorthSouth Foundation is run by all volunteers, like all volunteer army, right? And it is you who make this happen. It's because of you NorthSouth Foundation exists, and it's because of you we are able to conduct all the activities, whether it is contests, workshops, coaching, finals, change makers programs. All of these things are we're able to do it because of you, and so we really appreciate it. We appreciate your participation in the Indian knowledge system. We call it karma yoga. Karma. All the activities we're doing are part of karma yoga. And also as volunteers, you don't get anything in return. We don't give you anything. It's just amazing. You just come and join and contribute your time, your mind, your heart. You pour into it, and things happen. Miracles happen, and we've seen that. and for the last almost 28 years conducting contests. And as an organization, we're 33 years old, and the strength of the organization it all comes from volunteers and also parents who are bringing the children. If the parents don't come in, bring their children, there's not much we can do. So it's a community event. We call it Indian American community coming together and do these activities. The activities themselves are celebrations. When you celebrate Diwali, right? We celebrate Pongal, we celebrate Ugadi functions, various cultural programs, and these NorthSouth Foundation educational activities are no different. It's part of culture. It's part of our culture. Education is part of our culture, and we are coming together and do it amazingly well. Amazing. The outcomes are very visible. We have seen that what children have been able to do in the mainstream competitions. 12 years in a row in spelling bee contest, 8 years in a row in National Geographic Bee, and this is a second year we tried experiments because of the COVID. I hope you're going through this. We're all going through the struggle to this very difficult period. COVID almost a year and a half period, and Zoom changed the world. Zoom really changed the world. We're now able to meet through Zoom, conduct meetings, virtual meetings, and amazing. I watched in April, the first virtual contest, middle of April, and another one at the beginning of May. It's amazing. When I watch them, the volunteers come in, which is amazing. I was, energized, passion. I saw the passion of all the volunteers coming together. It's just like a celebration where they all come in, and we saw like Sai Sharma doing like a what you call cricket commentary. He was doing commentary, so the progress of the events, the contests, all coming in, and you have to see it. You have to see it to believe it. And I did it, and that experience I will never forget. I never forget the enthusiasm and the momentum and the camaraderie, children, parents, volunteers together. It was amazing. It was amazing. So I would like to thank you one more time for all the contributions you're making, and it's a nishkama karma that you are giving to the foundation, which hopefully also makes you grow as an individual yourself. A transformation by giving, you learn a lot, and you learn empathy, compassion, and through that process, you transform yourself. We all do. I have done it over the years. I'm learning. I'm still learning. It's a learning journey. Before I finish, I would like to point out some challenges that when you go home, you can think about it next week after next. Some challenges that the foundation has. One of them is, I call it reaching the unreachable. See, we represent less than 1% of the population of not Indian American population, less than 1%, right? There are 99% that don't know about NorthSouth Foundation. I call that unreachable. So we need to reach those unreachable population, spread the word, bring them in. Even if each child brings another child, we can double our registrations, right? We can spread the word to 100% more. So it can be done, right? So that is one. And also another way to think about it, the areas where you can reach in the country, we have development expanding exponentially since the last 20 years. We now have every city, every state has a capital. We have 50 capitals, 50 cities where IT hubs are. You can think about it. Think about it. There's no state capital. There's no IT. All state capitals have IT. So if there's 50 state capitals, there are 50 centers where Indian Americans, join in IT area. So they're the ones to approach. And also, if you can take the 50 metropolitan areas in the country, large cities, 50 plus 50, that's about 100. So 100 centers we can imagine, in our mind, right? Thought experiment. You can think of it. You can visualize 100 centers. So it can be reached, right? Reaching the unreachables is a wonderful opportunity. Another one is when the children go after 8th grade, in high school, we don't have too many activities. We have essay writing, we have public speaking. Maybe we need to engage them. We need to think about how to engage high school students. That will be another challenge. So once you do that, then as children become adults, get into the workforce, they become alumni, right? Create the alumni groups and engage them in our activities. Then we'll have a holistic model that can self-sustain, self-reliant as an institution move forward. With that, I will close. Thank you, Savita, for inviting me, and thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Chituri. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me start.
The music is not coming through. That's fine. So when we did the survey, we asked you volunteers, what does volunteering at NorthSouth mean? And we put together a slideshow of what you guys said volunteering at NSF means. And that's what we are right now screening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is Mahati on the call? Mahati?
I am, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys don't mind, we're just going to go a little bit out of turn. Mahati has a hard stop, so I would like Mahati to talk about the coaching vertical and the volunteers that are involved in your team. Mahati?
Yeah, absolutely. Am I able to share my screen?
Yeah. 1 second.
And I guess while we get set up with screen sharing, first off, coaching has been an incredible part of the NorthSouth Foundation family for over 10 years. And it has truly only continued to take off during the pandemic. We've seen many things.
See her?
We can see Mahati. We can see Mahati,
Right.
but not her.
Did you accept as such
Oh, there you go.
Okay, there you
Yeah.
go. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you able to see it?
Yeah, we can see.
Fantastic. We have seen several programs take off, especially during the pandemic. We've had the instructor-led online coaching program through the subjects continue, math, SAT, science, of course. but we've also seen many new programs come to fruition, whether it's public speaking, spelling, vocabulary, and now we're going to be kicking off with Alexa programming, essay writing, and more. And this wouldn't be possible without the support of all of our incredible volunteers who have truly been instrumental to really supporting and fueling the success of the coaching program. So I do want to just highlight some key statistics for 2020, 2021 thus far. Just from the fall coaching season, we had over 200 coaches, of which 35% of the coaches were youth volunteers. We had over 60% our coaches be returning coaches. And I wanted to highlight just a few of the volunteers who have been longtime volunteers who continued to coach this year as well, and have been coaches for 6 or more years. And this is, truly incredible to see these 10 volunteers just continue to give back. And we look forward to, continuing to have their involvement for many years to come, because of course, the coaching program would not be possible without our volunteers. So just to kind of call out the names, Aruna Sadasivan, Sahitya Alluri, Lalita Coimbatore, Sanjay Manchi, Smita Ramaswamy, Shravanti Valampati, Ashutosh Windaria, Geetanjali Krishnamurthy, Kalyani Yera, and Vasant Venkatachalam. So thank you so much to all of our coaches, all of our volunteers. It's truly incredible, and we continue to look forward to seeing where the coaching journey goes.
Thank you, Mati. Thank you very much for taking your time out of your busy schedule to do this for us. She was representing Praveen Goli, who heads the coaching vertical. Thank you. We now go back to the scheduled program. We invite Dr. Balu Natarajan, the president of NorthSouth Foundation, to say a few words to our volunteers. Balu?
So I want to first take a moment and appreciate 3 teams that are not formally represented. One is the NorthSouth board. Let me see if I can show my screen here. All right, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Great. So I wanted to recognize the NorthSouth board. We'll get to that in a minute. I wanted to recognize our India liaisons team. Behind the scenes, we actually have a number of people that are staying in touch with our India team, and then we have dozens of people in India that make sure that our scholarships get to where they need to go, and also support our high school initiatives with Kendra Vidyalaya and JNV schools. We've also got a finance team, which includes an investment committee, and so there are about a dozen people there. But what I wanted to do was focus on 3 people who are either retiring or stepping down from their positions. And so the first among them has been actually wanting to take a break for a long time, and finally we are giving him that break, and that's Ramdev Jagalamudi. He has really been unwavering in his support of our foundation as treasurer for decades, and he's finally able to retire. And I called him and I was able to speak with him yesterday and give a personal thanks. I can't even fathom what he's been doing all these years, and it's great to be able to finally allow him to retire. He recently retired professionally, and so he's really able to take a full break and catch his breath. The next person who's going to speak in a little while is Sri Vital Chopara. He has, anytime you see him and he starts talking about the foundation, he's smiling and he can't stop. And he's been with us for a decade and a half, lots of different capacities. I don't have enough slides to describe all the things that he's done, but he was very involved in the Columbus chapter and proudly conducted the finals in 2015. I was able to attend and be a part of that. And he's completing his term on the board, but he really leaves a legacy for what chapter directors should be doing, a blueprint for prep clubs, and he has inspired a generation of young change makers, which other people have picked up that torch. But I know he's never going to stop advocating behind the scenes for that group and what they're doing. And then next, you're going to hear from Rao Chalasani. He is retiring as chairman of the foundation after more than 10 years. He worked on Wall Street for a quarter century and was chief investment strategist of a large national firm. And then he retired early. He's written books, and he has made the time to support our foundation really quite intensely and with a lot of forward thinking that many of us didn't even realize until incredibly recently. He has put together really solid collaborations with the school systems I talked about so that we can serve thousands of children well before college. And then he commissioned a strategy team last year, which is really going to help us as we plot out what happens the next 10, 20, and 30 years. So my thanks to all of these three individuals, and I'm going to pass it on to Rao Garu for him to say a few words, after which Sribatal will say a few words himself.
Thank you very much, Balu. I want to first of all greet all of you for all the services that you have provided the organization. It's a mighty force of almost 3,000 volunteers. I salute one and all of you. It has been a pleasure, a great honor to serve this organization, which I dearly love, as the first chairman. Till now, the organizations do need the new blood and also new vigor. In that spirit, I decided to step down and announce that in 2019 itself. NorthSouth is a large family. No matter what changes take place going forward, that concept of being a large family will not change at all. And there are two magic words that are central to what we do. Those two are empathy and excellence. If we really want to put everything together as to what makes NorthSouth Foundation, I can very confidently say that NorthSouth Foundation, if there were to be ratings, would be in the top, one of the organizations in the top 5% of nonprofit organizations in the United States. Why do you say that? There are basically four reasons. First, we got the financial capital that is required, and we got enough in reserves that will keep us going. And all this is done without running around trying to raise funds every year for operations, which many organizations do. Now, this is all because of the volunteer work. The second one is quite related. That is not only the financial capital, we have all the human capital. I'm not talking about just numbers. I'm talking about the true intellectual capital of 2,000 to 3,000 volunteers that are day and night. When the call is on them. They're producing that service without any interruption at all. That is something that a lot of organizations cannot claim. The third thing is what we have done shows in the record that we have. That is the spelling bee, Polyet, streak, and 80th of streak, and geography B, and many others. The point there is, if you put that in terms of odds, it is so high, it's very unlikely for any group in future to be able to beat those odds. I think it's basically a tribute to what you have contributed and how you elevated the children to reach those levels. And the fourth one is, for any organization to serve for to do well over the long haul, you need good governance. I'm very happy to say that we have put that together, and you will see more when we introduce to you on July 4th the new board. There may be some names that you may feel jaw-dropping. So what I said, I feel extremely happy that we have an organization that is not only has done a good job in the last 30 years, but it will live for a long time to come well beyond my age. And so I thank you again, all of you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Ram Chalsani. Shrivita?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. And okay, cool. So actually, my speech changes a little bit because I was a little surprised. I had a surprise this morning from Dr. Balu. So, Dr. Balu, thank you. Thanks for that nice words and talking of the legacy. So, it's again to everybody on this call, each and every volunteer who is on this and who couldn't join this. So I started with the foundation about 15 years ago when my older one was a 7th grade. It's more like a chance finding. My predecessor in Columbus chapter, I happened to meet him in the school, and he introduced NorthSouth Foundation. He said it's a great place. I didn't know anything about it. Then I said, okay, great. It's a part of, it's associated with the education. So education is a passion for me. So that's how I entered into, not knowing how far I go and what I do. But all I knew was it's an education area and I love the field. Let's see what happens. I want to get. That's how my journey started. And fast forward 15 years, now I'm speaking about, I want to spend a little bit about my experience here. Starting as a volunteer, in the Columbus chapter, I did, leading few teams and conducting contests, leading up to the chapter director. And it's a highly rewarding journey for me at the NorthSouth Foundation. But one question kind of always tries to bother me, like which I was trying to find an answer for, right? What is in it for me? One way of looking at that was, is that the real question to ask when you are volunteering? And just before Dr. Chitturi mentioned about, Nishkama Karma, but what is in it for me doesn't have to be the material or anything else. It could be a lot more. But I feel that is the right question to ask, and one must ask. And being a volunteer, you also must find an answer for define what is there with your engagement. That is going to define your continuance in the organization, your engagement. So is with the foundation, has to provide an opportunity for everybody who is engaged with what is in it, how the foundation can provide an opportunities for the volunteers. It goes kind of a win-win. So Desi, can you go to the next slide? Next slide. Okay. So I'm without taking much time, and very recently I came across these two words, which I think they would perfectly define kind of what I was thinking and what the foundation has to offer for everybody. It is the Japanese words, ikigai and moai. I'm sure we have our spell pundits here. They know the meaning. The ikigai meaning, it's a sense of the purpose in life. And moai is a Japanese tradition, which actually the reason behind the longevity of a particular region in Japan. So how do I connect this to my engagement with the foundation? So the ikigai is the purpose. I think I have really defined my purpose. I thought maybe I want to kind of impact, do something in the education field. I have the excellence and the empathy. So I need to find a channel how I get it, do that or reach that. How do I do the journey? So NorthSouth Foundation provided that platform for me to translate and work with, engage with, to move towards the purpose. So that way, I'm extremely grateful to the foundation. The second one is about moai. It is a tradition. it's not, I mean, it's about the longevity, why the people live so long. I mean, in this region, I think it's a region where people live more than 100 years, but they have this tradition, which is defined by the lasting friendship and the kind of support system. Originally, they were built it around the financial support. But when you look at the NorthSouth Foundation, that's what we are actually trying to build, being engaged, being part of the foundation from the very childhood. I started when older child was 7th grade, but it is a journey for my younger one right from kindergarten. But what did I gain? So the gain, what is in it for me was I could, in addition to helping my child in get through all the education, all the inputs, but I also got an opportunity to give back. On top of it, I'm able to build a lasting relationships, the groups. I'm sure if you are in a journey with a larger group of people for 10, 15 years, it's going to last for long. I got benefited. I know that gives a lot of satisfaction to me. I'm sure everybody here would be feeling the same. I'm just trying to put some little bit of sharing what I know, what I came to know, to express my my experience when my journey with the NorthSouth Foundation. Can we, Desi, next slide, please? Here, so I want to add before I want to add one more question here. In addition to the two, the first one is what's in it for me? Yeah, you think about it. And the second one, what's your ikigai, and how is the foundation, how that is aligned with your engagement in the foundation? And think about Moai, how are you building the structures, the support systems, be part of that ecosystem, and this foundation is providing that platform. With that, next slide, please, Desi. So here, so I wanted to thank actually for my wife, Sujata, because she has been a great support. I mean, everybody, like without that, it's not possible. We have to have the family support. But I also thank her for giving me the gift of this book in my recent birthday, Keep Sharp. Maybe she thought, maybe, I need to sharpen my brain further. But reading that, actually, I grabbed those 2 words from the book. That's the perfect timing for me. So I thank Sujata and of course Dr. Sanjay Gupta and actually Savita. It came as a surprise you asking me to be speaking here. So again, just walked in. I have the habit of saying yes, not knowing where will it take me, but I have no regrets. I will continue to say yes. Now I'm taking, I think it's a little break for me, but I'm going to be there around. I'm sure. I want to thank the organization, the board, and everybody involved, and my great Columbus family. I'll be around, and when I look at the recent news, like the way they, it's on the autopilot mode, definitely it's they are there. We have the smooth transition with the chapter director to the associate director. Everything that's running great, and to my young change makers team. And I'll be around. Probably I'll be speaking to them separately, and to the national team. Other chapter director, I had a great time. With that, I think I've taken longer than what I initially planned for, but thank you. And for all the volunteers, think about these 3 questions. You're going to find very nice answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Srivital. Thank you very much. Desi, we'll bypass the dance video in the interest of time.
Okay.
I would like to invite Krishnan Gauri to talk about the contest vertical. Krishnan?
So while we wait, I think I wanted to really thank Savita and the team for giving me the opportunity to share with you what volunteers have contributed and how they have helped really make the contest team's activities very impactful this year. So I'll be very brief. The contest vertical itself has a number of activities that rely on the volunteers. and they include the regional contests, national finals, and all of these support activities that go with these two, such as information sessions, workshops, core and SME teams that form the backbone of these contests. In addition to all of this, now last year we have introduced the Panacea Challenge. Now each one of these have a large number of volunteer needs in order to make them happen. To give you an idea of the numbers, I don't know if you can see my screen here. We have had, oops.
Yep.
You're still seeing my screen, okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have had almost three or four major events that have been completed and in progress, and this is where most of the volunteers have made a difference. The first one is online contests. Dr. Chituri indicated that Sai Sharma was giving run play-by-play commentary of monitoring all the contests that go on in over 65 locations. Now, when these 65 or on the particular contest day, we had about 35 locations. There were anywhere between 200 to 250 contests that were being held, and over 400 to 600 volunteers at any given time, they were active. So without that kind of participation, we could not have conducted and delivered the best experience that we think would have been possible at this time when we are constrained with a lot of the on-site support we would have otherwise had. So this was completely done online with almost 400 volunteers. At the end of the 2 weekends, we figured out that we had over 1,500 volunteers contributing to make this happen. You can imagine, the amount of effort put in and the impact you have had in making all our students feel. One of the examples I wanted to share is that we have had centers with 300 students participating, and we have had centers with 4 or 5 students participating. So NorthSouth volunteers have taken it to heart, whether the number is 200 or a few, we deliver the same experience. In other words, we do go beyond what is normally needed to make every child in the community experience the joy of competing and learning from the contest. So that would not be possible without all of you contributing to it. The other 2 or 3 items I have listed here, Panacea Challenge that we initiated last year. There were about a large number of judges that were required to help deliver the assessments and feedback to the students, as well as come up with online voting, which was really, really interesting and had good feedback. Besides the contest, now we are getting a volunteer participation in delivering information sessions, MTP sessions, and workshops. Daisy has been a very big part of making that happen this year, and that were all possible because of the youth volunteers and past champions willing to participate. We had over 20 sessions overall between the information sessions, online workshops, and MTP sessions. We had a large number of participants benefit from it. And once again, that would not have been possible without all of your support. The last one is a recent initiative, and it's a very dynamic effort right now in a couple of different core teams. That's called the Question Bank Development, where volunteers are coming out to contribute, submitting questions, reviewing questions, validating them so that they can be used in future contests. To conclude, I thought I'll put in a few faces here to recognize as a special mention. The reason why I said a special mention here is because some of these volunteers, because of their initiatives, they not only contributed their time, in addition to their contribution of time, they were able to generate a new source of, I wouldn't call it revenue, but funding that which we would not have been able to do. An example was question bank development, where core teams needed assistance and volunteers stepped in to, provide the question bank development. But the time they spent in developing the question bank, they were able to get a company match. So not only they were able to assist us deliver the experience through the question bank, but also get some additional, source of donations that come from the company match towards the scholarships. Similar things happened with Brainbee team, Priyanka Senthil and Aditya Kona. They were able to generate new sets of material to offer coaching sessions and workshops that brought in some revenue as well. Similar things with Nihar, Shravya, and there was a bunch of others that I couldn't get all the pictures of, but I wanted to take a moment to thank everyone. And it's been great to have this kind of support, and I'm hoping that you will continue to participate with the with our team to help grow the contest team with all your contributions in the future. That's where I'll stop, Savita.
Thank you, Krishnan. Thank you very much for recognizing your team of volunteers. If Jagdish is not ready yet, then we'll go to operations. Praveen Katta.
Thank you, Savita. Hey, thank you so much for this opportunity for operations team to recognize some of the key volunteers. Actually, if you look at the operations team, what it constitutes, we didn't have operations team in specific in the past. Since the new transition cabinet was formed, we felt the need for addressing the needs of the chapter directors as well as the regional directors, and to strengthen those areas and having that one-stop shop to ensure that our chapter directors are taken care for what they're doing to support the end user's perspective. So the goal for operations team to ensure that we are, the chapter directors are facilitated to what is required to support our North-South community perspective. So as Dr. Chituri always mentions, chapter directors are our pillars for the organization. Without your support, we can't move forward anything. So you are standing there as the representatives for our organization in a totality point of view. And Savita, when during her conversation or in the slide, showed how much time that everybody spent and how it translates to, it cannot be, obviously the value that you provide cannot be put for numbers, but it's immense amount of support that pretty much you all bring to the organization. How we get from the leadership point of view, that motivation is from all of you. It's a mutual existing relationship that makes this organization to move forward, as I see. So thank you for all the chapter directors. You were resilient, as Krishnan was mentioning. Totally around 68 chapters conducted the online contest. It is a totally new platform, but you stood, even though it was challenging to start with, to understand the workflows which were different. And as Dr. Chituri was mentioning, it's amazing to see how the entire whole regional contest went through with a lot of hand-holding that happened, and it's a team effort. As we know, the team stands for together, everyone achieves more. That's the acronym that I always remember, and that is the only thing that I was seeing and hearing from everybody as we move forward. And the regional directors, so we didn't have like all the regions, we completely reclassified it and ensuring that we realign the regions during this process. 90% of the regional directors are totally new, but had that organizational kind of a experience to support the respective chapter directors. So we have totally around 10 regions now with 91 chapters across the entire US, which we continue to spread out into Canada also as we continue to speak. We are working on that. So the regional directors, some of them very, very dedicated. I can see the zeal in these leaders who came forward to become the regional directors to support their respective regions' perspective. We are very, very proud of this resilient leadership. At the same time, bringing that motivation, conducting meetings, and trying to rejuvenate that kind of zeal to support the North-South community. And the new term that came out of regional contest is the flying squad. With the virtual contests, online contests that were conducted, it was like raked up everybody who were in the control room, raked up like thousands and thousands of miles as we moved from one chapter to other chapter to support the respective operations at each chapter level. And the technology and the India support team, kudos to all the technical team members. They were, not just working. I could see the passion in them to support, jumping into the breakout rooms and stuff like that. And it was, even though it's night for them, midnight, those team members really, really helped out. And we felt that, hey, what an amazing relationship and coexisting relationship that everybody has got to give back to the national team. As you know, NorthSouth completely works with nobody paid, as we all know. So it's the satisfaction and within ourselves that gives us to support the North-South community point of view. As you all know, that is a positive energy. You all have lots of channels for supporting and giving back to the community, but you chose to support North-South as we all stand for excellence, education, and empathy perspective. So it's a great thing that we get. No other force or check can give that brings all of us together under the same umbrella, where Dr. Chituri brought this umbrella together for all of us to give back to the community perspective. So I think that's pretty much what I have. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate everybody from various vertical, from contest vertical, coaching, communications vertical, creating excellent and attractive flyers during the regional contest perspective. At the same time, the video clips, amazing how Savita's team has got this to spread the word in a very nice format point of view. Administration vertical, finance vertical, awards team, and that's a great energy that I could see from them. And thank you so much for your input during the surveys from the chapter directors and from the volunteers. That definitely gave us a good feel for where we would like to support going forward. And out of 99, or pretty much 100%, has given a rating of 4 or 5 in a level of 1 to 5, 5 being the most highest, as a satisfaction that they went to with the contest perspective. Thank you, Savita. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Back to you.
Thank you, Praveen. Jagdish, would you mind speaking about your IT team? Okay, so we'll move on to the next vertical. So I'd like to invite the young changemakers of North-South. I think Naresh is going to speak about YCNS.
Yes, thank you, Sarita. Can you hear me? Okay, well, thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me to this wonderful session. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you, wherever you're joining from, whichever time zone you're in. My name is Naresh Vadrevu, and I'm the Director for Outreach at NorthSouth Foundation. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity to be among such wonderful volunteers and friends. Before I get started, I wanted to thank Rao Garu and Srivital for their amazing leadership over the time. So thank you all for all the volunteers for the immense contributions you all make to NorthSouth Foundation in the form of your time, effort, and talent donations. I wanted to take just 2 minutes to thank the Changemaker volunteers by recognizing their contributions through some of the activities that they have undertaken over the years. Many of you may be familiar with the Devices Initiative that the Young Changemakers of NorthSouth undertook at the onset of COVID last year. The initiative was to raise funds and donate devices to several school districts that do not have enough resources to procure technology, with the goal of bridging the digital divide. The initiative raised $100,000, including the match from NorthSouth Foundation, and donated more than 700 devices so far. You may also have heard about Change-Making Journey program that NorthSouth Foundation established in partnership with Ashoka. This is designed to promote empathy, leadership, teamwork, creativity among youth. And this is a program that helps youngsters make the change they want to see happen in the world while gaining new skills and create their own story. Young Changemaker Journey sessions are based on Ashoka Foundation Changemaker Toolkit. And our latest initiative is Operation Breathe, where the Changemaker youth are raising funds to support the relief efforts to tackle COVID in India. And NorthSouth Foundation is providing $25,000 in matching funds. So in addition to the Changemaker youth that have been actively involved in all these programs and initiatives, all these initiatives would not be possible without the involvement and dedication of all the young and adult Changemaker volunteers. I learn a great deal from all these volunteers every time I have interactions with them. And I thank each and every one of the Changemaker volunteers for their time and effort as we embark on these new and exciting programs and initiatives. So let me quickly show you two slides, two pieces of information. Okay. So this is a quick slide about the Changemaker programs and the Changemaker journey with some key highlights. And please stay tuned for additional and more information that will be forthcoming about this program and how we are planning to roll it out across all the chapters at NorthSouth. And if you want to take a look at Operation Breathe, which is our latest initiative, let me show you real quick how this can be done. If you go to the NorthSouth Foundation main page and go to the youth corner and go to Young Changemakers, you'll see, well, most of the information about Young Changemakers, about the devices initiative, and the most latest being Operation Breathe. And you can read up more about Operation Breathe and how you can help support this initiative. With that, again, I thank all the volunteers for their tremendous support and effort and all the time they have spent and continue to spend over time. And I turn it back to Savita. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Naresh. Jagdish, if you are ready, we can go to you. While it's coming up, Jagdish, you can start speaking.
Sure. So for those of you who may not know me, I'm Jagdish Gurupalli. I've been managing the IT development efforts for a few years, and it's an army of people. I wouldn't say army of people, but it's a core group of people who are supporting all the IT activities for the last few years, and it's as part of the IT supports, we manage various functions. One is obviously the website development, performing the context management activities, supporting the operations teams, supporting various coaching activities and workshops, prep clubs, and information sessions. online games that are provided to the students who are registered, and also the India scholarships process. It's a massive effort in terms of procuring applications, processing the applications, and addressing any questions that come up from the applicants. And the IT team is engaged in all of these activities. And of course, we have a customer support team that depends on various IT support activities as well. And administration areas are this overall administration in general. So the key teams, again, we have an infrastructure team which supports the backend servers and databases and other activities. We have a website and application development team, primarily in India with our CapeStart vendor, and data analytics and business intelligence team, and customer support activities. So I would like to highlight a few of our key team members. So Veeraswamy Achanta Swamy, as we call him, he's been a keystone of our whole activities since our inception. And Dr. Chituri and Swamy have been working on maintaining and supporting NorthSouth Foundation's infrastructure and backend operations ever since we started our organization. And he has worked tirelessly in supporting, and I would be amiss if I don't mention that we won't be where we are without his direct involvement in all these years. Okay, and Venu has started working with us over the last 4 to 5 years, and he's become a key member of our organization within the IT team, and he is supporting not only the infrastructure but also ensuring that the latest technical innovations are implemented in our infrastructure activities. So this is helping us move towards the new cloud platform, moving us to a new website that would hopefully be launched in the next few weeks, and other new activities that we have been doing for the last few years. In addition, we have Jahnavi and Dalita supporting our data analytics activities, and Jahnavi has been a volunteer with NorthSouth Foundation for at least 15 years, if I'm correct. And she has been more on the operational side with supporting various chapter level activities. And over the last few years, she has been actively engaged in IT related activities as well. Giri and Ramakrishna Achala, they both have been on the forefront of supporting our social media related activities, and Savita will be depending upon quite a bit on them, and it would be, I would say, without Giri and Rama, I don't think all the latest innovations or latest expansion that we did into Facebook, into YouTube, and other areas would be happening. So we really appreciate all the effort that they have been providing and supporting us in the last few years. Praveen has been a key member of overall NorthSouth Foundation in various roles, but from IT perspective, he has been on the forefront of defining all the IT innovations related to coaching activities. For those of you who may not know, our coaching enrollment has, I would say, maybe not in quadruple, maybe grown 10 times over in the last 10 years, and that is no small feat. And this could not have been possible without the various technical innovations that Praveen has brought us during into the development activities. Okay, and as I mentioned before, on the customer support front, while Anbu and Savita may not have been directly involved on the IT side, but they have been core members in terms of giving us the inputs, making sure that our support needs are met, and we would not be where we are in terms of providing the necessary support activities without their key inputs. Okay. Now, last but not the least, our whole IT development and activities have been fully supported by CapeStart team in Nagarcoil, India. And the team members mentioned here, Surya, Stalin, Ramani, Karthika, Mubin, and Dino, the late Dino, unfortunately, have been working with all of us for the last 15 years. And it's incredible in terms of how much support they have been providing. Even though we call them our vendors, I actually treat them as part of our family. They're so integral to our operations, so integral to our day-to-day activities, and they go well beyond a 9-to-5 job. It's not like they would come in and just support for 8 hours a day. Our operations would not go as smooth without their inputs, and I would really take the time to appreciate all the efforts all the team members are providing. And again, thank you very much for all the support activities for the entire volunteer team. And it's mind-boggling as to where we have come in the last 30 plus years of NorthSouth Foundation activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jagdish. Anita, Anita's going to talk just quickly about HR and recruitment. While Anita is coming on board, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the communications team, especially Nilima and Kirti, who helped put together a lot of the things that we are able to see at today's event. The rest of my team, Venu, Giri, Rama, Pete, have been the backbone of the entire communications team, who have helped promote on social media. And like I think Jagdish was saying, we created a lot of flyers and a lot of videos to promote various activities at NorthSouth. Anita, are you here?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you,
excellent.
Anita.
Thank you so much for holding this event. And like everyone else has said, it's amazing what all the volunteers and support teams have done over the years and what they continue to do. It's an amazing effort. I will be really quick. I do not have any slides, but I do want to take the time to thank the volunteers within the administrative vertical. The HR team is the main core of this vertical, led by Kritika Ramkumar, along with Pooja Jain, Veena Dhanraj, and Kalyani Ashok. We also have compliance, led by Srinivas Gudeti, and we have a brand new awards manager, Snehal Patel, that's taking over from Anita Rajgopalan. So we're a small but mighty group within the administrative vertical. They've been doing some amazing work, especially over the last year, in trying to help with reorganizing the way we're set up, the teams are set up within the organization, and continuing to help with that as we go forward. The HR team, I cannot express my gratitude for how much time they spend with potential volunteers and trying to find the right fit within the organization. It's an amazing effort on their part. And on that note, we have many opportunities for people to help within the organization, everything from chapter level volunteers to coaching and contests that many people are familiar with, and also many support functions like HR, marketing, finance. So we have open positions listed on the NorthSouth website that you can find. And even if you don't see something there and you're interested, you can always email recruiting@northsouth.org and someone on the team will contact you and have a conversation to figure out what could work best within the organization. So I, again, am very appreciative of all the volunteers that make things happen, and we always have a need for more. So please do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. I want to just take a second to apologize to the upcoming webinar that we did run over by almost half an hour. I had given my speakers about 2 to 3 minutes, but you can see the passion that they have with their teams and how appreciative they are of their volunteers who, have worked so hard. So they needed that time to thank their volunteers. So my apologies and thank you everyone for attending the volunteer appreciation celebration. Hopefully we will be able to do something like this soon in person. And with that, we will say goodbye to the session. Thank you, Daisy, for
Thank you.
helping us with this. Thank you.